Greetings with gusto. Welcome to our show, Ghosts Are Near, where we discuss various aspects of the paranormal and paranormal exploration. I'm your host, Keith Johnson, the founder of N.E.A.R, New England Anomalies Research.
And I'm awake.
I'm glad you're awake.
At least now
By
I am.
now. With me is my co-host and co-founder, Sandra Johnson.
Hello there.
And welcome, studio audience. Great to have you this evening. And with no further ado, let's welcome our guests from Paranormal New England, Matthew Keats and Jeanine Caitlin. Did I say the names right?
Calkin.
Calkin.
Close enough.
Okay, very good.
Very good.
Well, we're so glad to have you here in our brand new studio.
Thank
you very much for having us.
Yeah, you guys look familiar. I think we've met before.
Here and there, yeah.
Yeah. I think you've been in the audience, maybe. Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Now here
Other
you are
spots?
in the spotlight, in the hot seats.
Thank you.
Let this be a warning to other audience members. You may find
May
yourself
wind up here. So guys, well, how did you first get into it? Let's start there. Matthew, we'll take you first. What's first interested you in the paranormal?
Since I've been a kid, things have just happened that are very unusual throughout my life, and a lot of it has to do with things that I could never explain.
Did you grow up in a haunted house?
You know, that's a good possibility. It's a good
Yeah,
possibility.
like many of us did, grow up in an atmosphere where there were things happening. And
Strange dreams sometimes about the basement of the house, and sometimes the animals that we had, the pets, would react funny. And after a while, it just started to become a big fascination for me.
So you weren't afraid. It
Very
sparked your
curious.
interest.
Yeah, exactly. Very, very interested in it. And once I started seeing the different shows coming on TV, and that caught my interest, and then I wanted to learn more.
So how did Paranormal New England come about?
In a very unique way. I went to another group first, and it was a good group, but I felt that I wanted to do something a little bit different, and so my first partner and I decided to start Paranormal New England, and we invited a few other people for some other groups to come along, and they did join us, and a very small group, just starting out, and it just slowly grew into something that I'm just honored to be part of.
Logical progression, right?
Very much so. Very steady, very slow, and just making good moves.
Great. Jeanine, your beginnings.
Not so much on the living in a haunted house, but my dad was really interested in the paranormal and parapsychology and got all his kids into it too.
There's an old word, parapsychology.
Yeah,
we used to
yeah,
use.
the Kreskin cards and
Right,
everything like
yeah.
that. And he took classes back in the 70s and would come home and, get his kids around and, hold up the cards and things like that. So I've always had an interest, even when I was a little kid, just growing up, over time and always being interested in it. And, not until just recently in the last few years, actually having the time to dedicate to a team. So hooked up with Matthew and the Paranormal New England team, and I've been a member ever since, and it's been great.
And this is your first group?
This is
that
my
you've been
first
involved
group,
with.
yeah.
Okay.
But it's a good experience,
Great.
Well, I know when your group investigated Slater Mill, I was not in attendance, but Keith was there, and he was raving about your group. He was very impressed.
I'm thankful for that. We wanted to make sure that we handled everything professionally, and that we made sure we did things correctly.
We certainly did, and the mill's still standing there to attest.
Yeah, we didn't burn it down.
It was a really fantastic adventure, and we had a chance to invite some people from our Meetup Group to come along with us on this public investigation, and I think the Meetup Group is a big part of who we are as well.
What exactly is the Meetup Group?
Meetup.com, it's a international website. All kinds of people can join on and start their own group, and we inherited this Meetup group from my previous group. They decided to allow us to change the name and take it on, basically become the new organizers. And from there, we just announced that we were going to have some meetings through the Meetup group at a Panera Bread in Burlington. And
so it isn't strictly online. It's actually you physically go and
you actually have
meet up
people just meet up that are like-minded individuals. And we've been holding them on the average once a month. And we have some dedicated people that show up every time and some new people too. And through that, we've created a little bit of a following, and we're very surprised and happy that they're willing to allow us to be there with them.
Now, if somebody were interested in meeting up with you, how would they find out about the time and the place?
Right now, there's two things going on. One is we're redeveloping the website, and that's going to actually show our meetup times and locations, which may be changing soon. And the second one is if you go onto meetup.com itself and type in Paranormal New England, you can find us.
Meetup.com.
Yeah.
That makes it easy.
Yeah. And I think we've had some success with them. We try to change things up. We do some presentations on different topics, whether it be investigations or equipment. We do demonstrations. And then we usually spend quite a bit of time just letting people talk about their own experiences and, what if there's members of other teams out there, they bring their equipment and share that as well. And it's been great so far. It's a good way to meet up with like-minded people.
Yeah, it really
and learn
is,
from each other.
Very, very lucky to have this group with us. And
equipment.
I think right now we have 205 current members. So
very good.
I guess we're doing okay.
Sounds like.
Yeah.
Your group actually investigated the USS Salem. Now, Keith and I actually have not been privileged to visit that particular location, but since you've been there, maybe you can tell us what you've experienced. Some of our other guests have been there, and they've really picked up some interesting
You can
evidence.
answer that first if you like.
I thought it was great, personally, to be able to get on one of the large ships like that and, walk down the halls that has that history with it. There is a bit of noise, which made it a little bit of a challenge in terms of some of the electrical equipment on some of the walls and things like that, having a buzz. But other than that, we had a great time. I know that it was us and another group that was there, and we actually caught. There was one report of outside of the, I guess it was the sick bay area, that they had women who were giving birth, and we actually caught an EVP of babies. It sounded like a baby crying, and there were other areas near the kitchen and near where they used to sleep that we caught some EVPs as well.
It's interesting that there's so much activity on that ship, considering that the USS Salem has never actually participated in battle. It's never actively fired its guns. And,
Right, apparently just its presence was formidable enough.
right. It's had a number of dignities aboard, of course.
Yes,
Very
actually.
historic.
It was an amazing adventure. Amazing adventure. It's one of those things that you'll never forget. And working with the other group and meeting the people who manage the ship itself were just fantastic. Going.
We've heard they're really nice folks.
Oh yeah, they just we all went out in teams, and we had our radios and we used them as best we could. But there's a lot of sounds of creaking from the metal in the boat too. But there's so many different things that you could talk about. We could take a book to write it. It's just absolutely an adventure.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I would recommend it if you can get out there to actually go on the ship.
Well, we will.
Yeah.
We will eventually.
Just be careful of the stairs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, getting down into the lower levels of the ship was a little scary at times, not for the paranormal, but because of the little tiny stairs that you have to climb down and get into. But
And Carl knows about the stairs.
yeah.
It was
It was
unforgettable.
a lot of fun, though.
Unforgettable.
We had a great time.
We stayed pretty late, too.
Yeah.
We stayed pretty late. But never forget it. I'll never forget it. And hopefully we'll be able to go back there again someday. You know, with the experience we have now, we maybe will be able to do a little bit better next time.
How about, does your group have any particular way of preparing for an investigation? I don't know if you get together and before the investigation and prepare somehow, or individually. Do you have any sort of rituals that you?
Well, typically what we'll do is anytime we get contacted by a client, as a case manager, I'll do a questionnaire with them, get all the information ahead of time. And but prior to the actual investigation, we'll meet up as a team at a local place, you know, somewhere close by, as a lot of teams do. Go over the information about the case, and let the rest of the team, you know, bring them up to speed on the type of things to look out for, different areas, what the claims are. And again, when we get at the actual location, we'll do a walkthrough and tell our magnificent tech team where to set up the cameras and go from there.
Hello, magnificent tech team.
We've got Carl, we've got their tech team, we got everybody out here.
We actually, one of the things that is really fantastic about this group is we have an organization that's democratic, and everybody gets involved in what they have to say. So, you know, with our historian, with our public relations manager, the tech manager, and Jeanine, the case manager, we all communicate ahead of time, and you know, we are very clear in what we have to discuss, and we have a lot to present to the client. And it seems like the clients so far have been happy with how we handle things.
Great.
Yeah, a lot of the clients are really interested in the historical facts. So we do have a historian that her job is to, you know, go out and try to dig up as much information as she can about the case, or sorry, about the location. And clients appreciate that a lot, that you can tell them this is what was there before, and so forth.
One of them, actually, the one with George Washington.
Yeah, we had a case up in Northborough. There were claims that George Washington had actually stayed at the house while it was an inn. We didn't find anything that said that George Washington had stayed there, but there was a meeting house out in the barn in the backyard that was an actual location where people at that time would get together and meet. And that was a really interesting case that we had.
Yeah. Clients do really appreciate that thoroughness.
Yeah.
How about, well, you know, where Keith and I are coming from, we sort of specialize in cases that might have sort of a negative aspect. And I know that you're not hesitant to go in and help clients that may be experiencing that sort of thing. Do you have any specific kind of precautions that you take?
Yeah.
How do you prepare for something like that? Is there anything specific that you would do before going into a situation like that?
Yeah, very, very, that's actually quite important to us. Most of the time we'll approach everything understanding that before we go in, we'll say a prayer. And because we know that whatever we're going to be walking into is an unknown. And we want to make sure that we're coming in very peacefully, we're not aggressive. So whatever might be in there, if it is aggressive or looking for aggression, we're not going to offer that key. You know, and that brings a lot of comfort to the families, knowing that we're walking in professionally and non-instigative.
Right, and that's one of the things that very much impressed me when you guys were at Slater Mill, was the amount of respect you had for the situation. I mean, you know, you're going to a situation, even if it's human spirits, I mean, you want to be courteous. You don't want to just go out provoking and insulting these entities, these personalities, and you were very respectful from that, and I really appreciated that very much.
Thanks.
You know, we believe in doing that on every single case.
Have you ever felt like you were personally in danger on an investigation? Or that you were threatened at all?
I don't feel that I was threatened, but sometimes we've had a case where you get back and you listen to the evidence after the fact and you're like, wow, that doesn't seem like there was something very nice there. And you think about it when you get home and you listen to it. But when you're on an investigation, you kind of put that all aside, and we focus on really trying to capture evidence and help the clients. But like Matthew says, you know, saying a prayer before and even after, if we feel that we don't want to take anything home with us.
Making sure you're spiritually grounded.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
We'll even offer, if the client would like it, two things. One is during our investigation, just before we get started, we'll offer a prayer with the family involved, if they would like it. And you know, I'm not a priest or anything, or a father or reverend, but I do my best to just offer what I can. And then basically, it's after that, we say the prayer afterwards. It just really, as Janine said, but we also then offer services to the clients if they want to have help in either understanding or even going as far as to try to remove whatever might be there by bringing in psychics or mediums, or the church, whichever they prefer to have, so that it's a complete help to them.
Right, so it's not just you go and investigate and leave.
Right.
Correct.
Say, good luck.
Also offer, solutions and closure if possible.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of times we find that clients, if you do present them with evidence, they want to know why whatever is there, and they do. A lot of them do want it removed. So rather than just saying, well, here's what we found and good luck, that we will try to take the next step with them. We don't want to leave them hanging, but we'll bring in, if they feel comfortable, with a medium or with a member of the church, just to come in.
Yeah, and I'd like to hope that most clients would choose to take some action.
Yeah, we do suggest that they do, because you never know if it's going to lead to something.
It's sort of a pet peeve with me. I mean, not that I think everything is demonic, but even if it seems to be a human spirit, you know, I really, the pet ghost thing, it just rubs me the wrong way. You know, I wouldn't want to be stuck in somebody's house for eternity, and I wouldn't wish that on anyone else.
Yeah, we unfortunately have come across some clients who
they want their pet ghost.
They really don't want it. They don't say they want it removed, but they don't say they just don't make it clear, but they want to know about it, and then they kind of, I don't know, all of a sudden communication fails.
We've got a ghost in our house, come check it out.
Well, we have experienced that with clients, and sometimes they'll call us back later and saying we're starting to have problems now. So
yeah, we get that too.
Right.
Unfortunately, we weren't able to have Dan on the show with us tonight, but we're very impressed with his technical prowess. Can you tell us anything about some of the gadgets that he uses on investigations that might be unique?
What we tried to do, rather than running, cable everywhere, we do have a setup where we use mini Arcos DVRs, and what we have are self-contained units where we have a camera, microphone, and cabling to a little recorder, a recording device that captures the video for us, video and audio, and all we really need is just an outlet. But those units themselves, you can run them on a backup generator of some kind. Dan probably knows a lot better than I do. But what we like about them is they're very portable. You can set them up anywhere. You don't have to worry about all of your information going to one DVR unit that might break down on you. So we like having that set up. It's worked well for us.
Plus it also frees up a lot of people to be able to join in the investigation itself.
Right.
Which is kind of an important part.
You don't have to worry about just stationary monitoring equipment.
Right. Although at some point we might want to get a home base and go from there, but for now.
Handy to have a Dan. We have a Richard. He's very good too.
He's waving there in the control booth.
I see an arm waving back and forth.
Yeah, it's always good to have one person who knows the equipment inside and out.
Exactly. I agree. Exactly.
We're very, very blessed to have our tech manager. He's good.
Gotta have one of them.
Now, you actually, speaking of tech, you actually have some evidence with you, some examples?
Yeah.
Is any of that now? Is any of that from the night that you were at Slater Mill with Keith?
Yes, we do have one. The first one I can play for you is from Slater Mill. This was actually taken toward the front of the mill, near where the gift shop is. And about halfway through, you'll hear something that was definitely not one of us.
Now, were you actually asking questions, or
At the
was
time,
this?
yeah, we were conducting an EVP session.
Okay.
Being fairly quiet, and this was just something that was picked up while we had one of those periods of quiet.
Okay.
So,
Okay,
right?
yes.
Okay. So it sounds like to us a young child's voice, and I mean we debated back and forth about what it could possibly be saying.
Yes, we did.
There were some people who thought it sounded like it said "boots for them" or something like that.
Could you play it again?
Yep.
Though we have no idea why.
But, of course, yeah, I'd like to just make that clear that at Slater Mill, many of the original workers were children, age 12 and under, going to 6 years old. So there was a lot of child labor in the New England mills. They were the staple employees at these mills. So
Right.
a lot of child labor in the history of Slater Mill and other mills in New England. So not surprising you might get a child's voice.
Yeah.
And it does sound female. No matter what it says, it does sound like a female voice.
Yeah, I'm hoping at some point, Mike Baker, who I'm sure everybody knows.
Oh,
Yes, oh yeah.
Been on the
he
show a few
actually-
times.
He actually introduced us to another software system called Pratt, P-R-A-A-T. And we're trying to learn that a little bit right now, because apparently that can, if you learn it, you can break down the words and possibly, with the software, really be able to understand exactly what might be being said.
You know, it's interesting that it was exactly a year before your investigation. I happened to be going through Slater Mill with another group at night, and right in front of the portrait of Samuel Slater, the famous portrait of him, I was commenting on the portrait, and the investigator said, "There he is." And you got this, you can hear this voice in the background saying, it sounds like it's saying, "I saw it." Very quiet, but it sounds like it's saying, "I saw it." You know, actually, got the sound of the Old Faithful here. If we can
Do
place
you
it.
believe this?
Yeah, I was looking at that earlier.
Well, I got it handy, so.
You know, what year is that? 1980?
Yes, yeah.
Do
Still
you find
works.
replacement parts, or?
No, once it goes, it goes. So.
He was famous for this when we were members of TAPS.
Yes.
You know, we got Old Faithful with you because, you know,
Oh, Brian,
for whatever,
still, you know, you still ask that. You got Old Faithful, right?
even to this day, yeah, because it's just, we've had such good luck with it, with capturing EVPs with this old piece of junk. So he's never going to get rid of it.
But you actually hear this. I'll put it next to my mic here.
I get it. There it is.
Now, that was very faint. I don't know if you heard that, but he said, "There he is." And you hear this, like, very faint, "I saw it." You know?
Your mic probably picked it up.
Yes. Yeah.
And in that same area was where we heard
Yes.
a very loud bang. And at the time, none of us were moving. We were just kind of sitting on the floor at different areas. And there was a large bang.
That does
we
seem to
heard.
be the most active spot right there, right in that section right there for some reason.
We, when I was sitting towards the river end, a very unusual thing happened. Is I think there was I guess you could describe it as a bang, happened to the north side, then to the corner at the top of the ceiling, and then right above us, all within about under
really?
5 seconds.
Kind of followed it.
Yeah, and it was just very curious.
Interesting. So, do you have any more examples of EVP?
Sure, I can play this other one. This is from a recent investigation that we were in. And what you'll hear is there was a fish tank in the room, so there's a little bit of that noise.
Right.
But in the middle, you can actually hear something, so I'll just play that. sounded like a woman's voice, a desperate woman's voice saying, "Can you hear me?" Or "Did you hear me?"
And where was this picked up?
This was picked up in a private residence and in one of the children's room. And there was a lot of activity that happened in that room. Actually, during our investigation, we heard a loud bang, and our investigators, of course, came running trying to figure out if something fell over or something. And we didn't
Very loud bang.
And we didn't find anything out of place. But in that same room, we caught this EVP.
And did you say you were doing an EVP session, or was
No, this was just a recorder that was left in the room while we were in different areas of the house.
And I wonder if the fish tank noise could have been used sort of as white noise, because we've captured EVP with the fish tank going in,
Yeah.
legitimate EVP.
Yeah.
We also heard footsteps.
We had a lot of
in the
noise
hallway.
from that room, yeah. It was
Just a
interesting.
lot of activity.
Yeah.
Now, did the client actually say that that was one of the more active rooms?
Yeah, the client said that there's a closet in there where the doors would shake, and the child that was in that room would go running and went into the parents' room all scared.
Do we have time for at least
Yeah,
one more?
at least one more,
One
yes.
more?
Yes,
Okay.
we do.
This one was actually taken up in New Hampshire at the Spalding Inn, if anyone knows about that.
Oh,
But
yeah, right.
we were there for a overnight investigation, and about, within a minute of shutting down for the night, we heard this. And I don't know if you can hear it very well, but it says, "The party's over."
Yes.
And right, within a minute after that was when, someone came into the hallway and said, "That's it for the night." We were doing an EVP session, and everyone was quiet, and you got "The party's
Yeah.
over."
Play that once more, please.
Yep. It's like, "The party's over."
Yeah.
Jay and Grant must have gone to bed for the night. They have their ghosts do their announcements.
Yep,
Break it up now.
Well, you've got
Hey.
paid staff and volunteer, right?
It's great for the overhead.
Yeah, excellent, excellent.
Absolutely.
Wow. Well, we're winding down now, and I want to thank you so much for being our guest. And
Thank you
like
for
I said,
having us.
so much has to be covered in a half hour. We want you back again, okay?
Okay.
Well, thank you very much for having us here. It has been our pleasure, too.
Any last-minute advice you'd give to other investigators?
Okay, yeah. Be friendly to the ghosts. Don't
That's-
instigate. Don't
Yeah.
cause trouble. And you'll find that things will go better.
I agree.
And respect the clients as well.
Yes.
Because they're the ones, after you leave and pack everything up, they're the ones that are still going to be left
Still
at the
left in
house.
that situation.
Yeah.
Words of wisdom. Okay. Well, again, Matthew, Jeanine, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we really appreciate you being here tonight.
And we're looking forward to the next time.
Looking forward to
With more
Keith and
stuff.
Sandra, thank you.
Okay.
And thanks again for letting us do Slater Mill, because we had a terrific experience.
Great.
And I would
Yes.
recommend that to anybody.
Absolutely.
We'll
Fantastic.
do it again
host.
sometime.
Yeah.
We'll have to do it again.
Well, good advertisement.
Yes, exactly. Well, thank you very much, and a shout out to Pastor Rebecca Law, our good friend who's being installed as the pastor of Graniteville Baptist Church in Johnston, Rhode Island. So congratulations, Rebecca.
Congratulations, Rebecca.
That's our show. Good night, everyone.